Breaking news, everybody, it has been confirmed that a new round of stimulus payments will be going out next week. And the IRS also just announced that new inflation has some adjustments. So this is your fourth stimulus check update and daily news report that I want you to know. Be sure to stay until the end of this video, everybody, to find out the latest stimulus check information. Now, the state of California has distributed nearly 4.5 million second Golden State stimulus checks to date, and about half of the payments are expected to be issued under the program. But there's still some confusion about who's receiving the infusion of funds, including whether Social Security recipients will get them. The answer is that some do and others don't. That's because under the guidelines set forth by the states, only certain Social Security beneficiaries are eligible for the California stimulus checks. Do you think this is right, folks? Do you believe that all Californians should get a fourth stimulus check if they're in need of one? Tell me in the comments below.
These are stories that inspire generation after generation of Americans to step forward to defend our nation. And today, we pay homage to the unrelenting bravery and dedication that distinguish all those who have earned the title of American veteran. It's an honor that not only a small percentage of Americans can claim, and one that marks those who are able to claim it as brothers and sisters. It's a badge of courage that unites across all ages, regardless of background, because to be a veteran is to have endured and survived challenges most Americans will never know. You've come through the trials and testing, brave dangers and deprivations, faced down tragic realities of war and death. And you've done it for us. You've done it for America. To defend and serve American values, to protect our country and our Constitution against all enemies, and to lay a stronger, more secure foundation on which future generations can continue to build a more perfect union. Each of our veterans is a link in a proud chain of patriots that has stood in the defense of our country from Bunker Hill to Belleau Woods, Gettysburg to Iwo Jima, Chosin Reservoir to Konar Valley. Each understood the price of freedom, and each shouldered that burden on our behalf. Our veterans represent the best of America. You are the very spine of America, not just the backbone, you're the spine of this country. And all of us owe you. And so on Veterans Day, and every day we honor that great debt and recommit ourselves to keeping our sacred obligation as a nation.
And so now the American Rescue Plan was signed into law by President Biden back in March. It sent a lot of money directly to the American people. It immediately sent a $1,400 payment to most Americans. After 2 other payments were sent out, it also added other ways for people to get the much needed cash. One of the changes was the expanded federal child tax credit. It increased the amount of money people could claim for each child, and allowed the first half of the new credit to be paid directly to families during the last 6 months of 2021. But now the next payment is right around the corner. It will hit bank accounts through direct deposit November 15th, and people receiving the money by check will have to wait a little bit longer. And how much money you receive depends on the age of your children and how many children that you have. If your child is under age 6, you can receive $300. Age 6 to 17, you then receive $250. And that amount of money gets delivered per child. So if someone has a 4-year-old and a 9-year-old, they would get a $550 check. It is also fully refundable, which means that people do not need to work or file a tax return in order to receive the money. However, there are income limitations. According to the IRS, the child tax credit begins to be reduced to $2,000 per child if a person modified AGI in 2021 exceeds $75,000 if they are a single filer. The payment arriving November 15th. The payment arriving November 15th will be the next to the last payment of the correct version of the credit. There will be 1 payment left. It will be delivered on December 15th. The future of the expanded child tax credit is also up in the air. The Biden administration would like to continue to expand the credit for 1 year and make the expanded credit permanent. But let's see if that happens. Because some lawmakers in Washington, D.C. want to make changes to the tax credit, especially Democratic Senator Joe Manchin. If signed into law, the White House says the bill would meet a $250 and $300 payments would go out monthly in 2022. In total, it would cover 35 million households, or 90% of those with children. The eligibility requirements would be the same as the 2021 expanded child tax credit. It would cover single filers whose modified AGI is less than $75,000 per year, and couples filing jointly who earn up to $150,000 in total. And also, the IRS announced the 2022 inflation adjustments for a slew of different tax provisions, including the federal income tax brackets and the standard deduction. According to the IRS, because of a spike in the cost of most consumer goods, the majority of the tax bracket thresholds are rising at a faster pace than is usual. Most tax bracket cutoff points rose about 3% compared to the 2021 filing season, due to a recent inflation surge, making the largest increase in 4 years. The changes will apply to 2022 tax returns that are filed in 2023. The IRS releases inflation adjustments for tax provisions on an annual basis, although the calculation is based on a different measurement than the Labor Department's Consumer Price Index gauge, which revealed on that prices climbed 6.2% in October, the highest level since December 1990.
Mr. President, the average Social Security benefit today is just $14,000 a year. And as someone who will be the next ranking member of the Budget Committee, I intend to do everything I can, not only to oppose vigorously any efforts to cut Social Security, I'm going to do everything that I can to expand Social Security benefits. And, in fact, the best way to expand Social Security is to ask the wealthiest people in our country to pay more into the system by scrapping the cap on income that is subject to the Social Security payroll tax. Mr. President, as you know, right now, a billionaire pays the same amount into Social Security as someone who makes $117,000 a year. You got a multi-millionaire here, somebody's making $50 million, somebody's making $117,000. They both contribute the same amount into the Social Security Trust Fund. This is regressive, this is unfair, this is absurd. If we lifted this cap and applied the Social Security payroll tax to income above $250,000, not $117,000, but $250,000 a year, we could not only extend the solvency of Social Security for decades to come, which is what we want to do, but we could also provide the resources necessary to expand Social Security benefits. And that